Patterson magazine.
Right. Gentlemen, look at you two. Look at you two just sitting there
It's
waiting to be
just sitting
talked
there.
Oh yeah.
This is how we do it.
to. So introduce yourselves. Who's who?
My name is Max Tzannes. I was the director and co-writer of Found Footage, the making of the Patterson Project.
I am David San Miguel. I was co-writer and did music for the project, the Patterson Project. And
I watched the movie last night, and I'll tell you what, I laughed so hard at this freaking movie. It just had me in freaking stitches. So let's start off. We want to talk, or I want to talk about more than anything else, conception. Where
yeah.
where did this idea come from? In my review, and I'm sure it's getting this a lot. This isn't an original idea on my part, but it's very much this is Spinal Tap-ish, along with a lot of Blair Witch Project. Uh, I mean, it's kind of a perfect blend. Was that what you set out to do?
Yeah, I think definitely the the Christopher Guest influence is a huge one, and Rob Reiner, of course, for This Is Spinal Tap. So that was a big. Um, I think that the idea of a mockumentary that's played really straight and is really really funny, turning into a found footage horror film was like the big picture concept that we wanted to achieve, and maybe there was another version of the movie where it never even went horror at the end, and you still might have enjoyed it because it was so. Hopefully, it was very funny. And what we used to like as the fuel for said laughter was ourselves,
Mhm.
as one does, because we basically just make fun of ourselves as much as possible in the movie. I mean, everything, if you laugh at the main character, you're basically laughing with and at us because we've made just the same decisions on basically every set we've been on. And it feels like everything's against you and you don't know if it's real or fake or if it's just the demon gods. So
Yeah, well, exactly. I mean, and I haven't been on a lot of film sets, but I've been on enough of them to realize that those crazy things are things that just happen. And of course, you guys took them to an over the top level in this movie. But and I don't want to get into anything too spoilery. This movie kind of has to be experienced, I think, to fully enjoy it. But I mean, when I knew it was going to be something special was when we went to the thing and the gentleman in the front seat realized that he was the guy that was going to be actually filming the footage and had no idea how to even hold a freaking camera. And I was like, oh my God, this is insane. Um, but your lead, I want to make sure we talk about him. Is his name Brennan?
Brennan Keel Cook is
Yeah.
his name. Yes.
He's amazing in this. I mean, he really is. I very much watched this film through his eyes. He was so excited to be making this movie, and the scene where he's casting and he's like sitting there with his mouth just agape at these people doing these god awful additions.
Yeah.
And so again, is this something that you've drawn from your past casting experiences?
Yeah. What did you say?
I would say the yeah, probably blown up again, obviously. But you see everything under the sun when it comes to casting. We started on backstage to get like the first kind of round going. And yeah, like that's everybody in the world who wants to do this thing hops on there. And so you see a lot of fun flavors, and it's like it sometimes gets kind of hard to discern whether they're like genuinely like awesome doing this like crazy character that's like awesome, or if maybe they're like kind of out of touch. I don't know. But
Never can tell, can you?
it's kind of hard to tell. It's like, I mean, and either way, I guess is okay as long as they commit to the thing. We're good.
So are you both like Bigfoot movie fan? I mean, why go with a Bigfoot concept? What was the
Yeah, the Bigfoot was that it took a long time because I mean not to give too much away about the movie, but there's a movie within the movie, but then also the mockumentary kind of hits some non-traditional beats as far as that narrative goes too. And just knowing that we were going to kind of do this turn in with the movie and add some genre elements with the broader movie, it felt like it was necessary for the monster in the movie within the movie to be something that was very tangible and instantly recognizable. And I think that if someone hears about a found footage movie about Bigfoot, they pretty quickly can kind of picture that movie in their head. So we don't have to spend too much time talking about the plot. of the movie within the movie. You can kind of just experience it, and hopefully we'll show you little scenes that remind you of like 10 movies you've seen before in that genre that are all kind of downstream of Blair Witch, um, and as well as Paranormal Activity too. And so that it was kind of like there is a third member, by the way, of DSC too. His name's Jacob Souza. He was the cinematographer editor. He's the third member of our company. And while we were trying to like, okay, what's a recognizable, what is a recognizable kind of monster that Chase could be using partially as like a marketing tool, but also because maybe he's passionate about this specific cryptid. Um, and he's a huge Bigfoot enthusiast. He showed us the Patterson Gimlin footage, and has his theories. We have our theories. So he was like, let's do Bigfoot. I want to do a Bigfoot movie. And we're like, all right, great, let's do it. And I think it layers in because especially if you're making a movie about someone making a Bigfoot movie, there's something a little inherently funny about a guy in a suit, walking around as Bigfoot, and also casting the Bigfoot character is very fun, right? So yeah, it fit. I think it checked off a lot of boxes for us. While also really the third member, he was just stoked to have Bigfoot in our movie and wanted to see all the creative ways we could implement him in the story.
Every once in a while, he would be more excited about that script within the film.
Yeah.
Like wanting to know more about that. We're like, that's great, man. But this is the movie. Is this bigger thing?
This isn't giving too much away, and you guys both get credit for it since you're co-writers on this. But funniest line in the movie is that it kind of feels like a ball sack. Love it.
Yeah,
absolutely. Oh, it's so funny. I love that scene so much.
It's so funny. And again, out of context, you'll know it when you see it.
Yeah.
When you watch the movie, you'll understand what we're talking about.
It's really funny. I feel like in that part, I feel like the audience kind of feels what he's about to say before he says it.
Yeah,
just by looking at the thing that happens.
I'm having a weird reaction to this.
So going with that film within a film concept as a director, Max, I guess this is more directed towards you. How do you even pull that off? I mean, how do you even decide, because I mean, you're kind of filming someone filming something.
Yeah.
I'm not sure. I mean, I'm asking, I'm curious.
No, it's really fun. I mean, it's scary until you start to give over some control and you hire good people who you really trust and who get how. I think a big part of this movie, because it is ultimately, I think, a horror comedy with that's really comedy forward, is just people being inside of the joke of what makes this movie funny. And what makes this movie funny, yes, there's punchlines and there's like funny little bits of dialogue that people say, but the situations are what make the movie funny to me. And I think that as long as you have a bunch of actors who have been in those situations before and understand how to not necessarily make the focus on them, but on the difficulty of the problem that they're trying to solve. I think that actually, in a weird way, a lot of the scenes came together way faster than if I had tried to like micromanage every single movement. So it was a lot of trust. And just like this is Final Tap, it was, we had lines, but we improv'd a lot. And the improvisations, I'd say some of there's a scene that you mentioned with an actor and a camera. And I think that's a pretty special comedy scene. And that scene on the page was exactly one line. And it just says he tries to frame it over and over again. He can't do it. And then we shoot it and they go for 10 minutes. And it was hard for us to cut that down because it was just so funny.
Yeah, you could definitely kind of tell that it was improv and that it was actually working. And then of course, Chase's solution to the problem, I'm assuming it was scripted, but it's absurd. Whatever. Chase was going to make this movie work, guys, no matter what. This movie was getting made. And this is very much an ensemble cast. Actually, it's a rather huge cast. How did you go about that? Are these all people I know? I noticed from looking back, Max, on your IMDb profile that I see a lot of the same names. Are these a lot of the people you worked with in earlier films?
Sure, yeah. A lot of people we've worked with before, but also because it was such a big cast, there had to be a lot of new faces too. We worked with Brennan before. We worked with Linnell, who's the lady who comes to the timeshare and presents a book at a certain point. I don't know if you remember her.
Her husband or boyfriend or whoever it was, he looked familiar to me. I don't know.
Yeah, he's
kind of everywhere, I think.
His name's Dan Jablon's one of the funniest guys. And it was very funny casting that part, as you know, the part that he plays. he's kind of the against type for what you traditionally see for that part.
Yeah.
But then he came in and he was so funny, and he played it so straight that, and then we saw that he's been in Netflix, he was in Curb Your Enthusiasm. It's like, oh yeah, this guy has a specific talent for this sort of like structured improv, you know.
Yeah.
So that was great. But also, I mean, a huge as far as finding new people, a huge debt is owed to David because he was actually the casting director too, if you can believe it.
Oh, yeah,
Do everything.
master of all trades. Huh?
Oh yeah, we're like Chase, you know, if something needs to be done, one of us picks it up and we just roll with it. But
Who did your guys' special makeup effects? The old age makeup on was it Betsy? I apologize.
Mhm.
Yeah, Betsy.
I mean, yeah, that was a formidable old age makeup. It really was.
Thank you. Yeah. Her name is Izzy. She's fantastic. Or Lizzie. Lizzie
yeah.
is fantastic. She was the only hair and makeup girl on set.
Yeah.
We didn't have anybody else, and we were working a 13-day shoot, and she was sometimes working through 12 actors, just getting them going. And she just did a great job. What she was really good at was, and this is something that you see in the movie. It's so funny because the movie's about making a found footage horror movie. So it's funny. So much of it I can reference the movie to explain what it was like. Uh, one thing that happens in movies, you get behind really easily, and it's really easy to get behind on a day and feel pretty like you're not going to get your favorite scene at the end of the day. And a lot of that is actually up to the camera department and hair and makeup and wardrobe, just like being on it. And we were lucky enough to have an insanely efficient team. A lot of them were one person departments, in some case working with 14, 15 cast days. And I don't think we went late a single day.
No, oftentimes we had extra time to like just like
That's
anybody have
impressive.
any ideas to shoot some
Yeah.
fun talking head right now? And
We actually opened the movie. We opened the monologue with Brennan. That was a monologue he wrote, and we had extra time that day. And we're like, hey, yeah, let's shoot it. Let's see if it's any good. And we're like, oh, yeah, we're just gonna start the movie that way.
Ends up being the opening of the film, huh?
yeah,
Exactly.
I mean, yeah, I was going to ask you how long of a shoot it was because the film in the movie is a 7-day shoot. It takes place over 7 days. So, but you guys actually had 14 to actually do what you did.
We had 13 days. We had 5 days down here in the Burbank area, I'd say, the valley, and then we did what would that be? 8 days in Camp Nelson, which is in the what's
Sequoia area.
National Forest, yeah, a little north of here.
Yeah, that's where that house was, or the
Yeah, we hunkered down over there. It was pretty fun. It was we kind of took over the whole town, and they said their cookie sales. They sold more cookies that week than they did in the last 3 years. So we felt good.
not beer or marijuana consumption. It was cookies.
No, it was chocolate chip cookies from the local store.
They were incredible.
So when the movie, again, I want to tread lightly. I don't want to give away too much here, but when the film turns and becomes a true horror film,
Mhm.
what what was your vision for that? I mean, it came across very Evil Dead 2-ish
Ooh.
to me. Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
which I mean is a compliment.
Yeah,
Thank
we
you.
love that.
Yeah, I love Evil
Because
Dead.
you just didn't know what was going to happen. I mean, you just don't. There's some truly fun stuff in there. But how hard was all that to do? Because I mean, that it had to be a huge mess. I mean, come on,
Yeah.
there's stuff flying everywhere.
yeah. No, we just got a little messy. Yeah, definitely. We were just having fun. We cleaned up the mess afterwards, but we just went all in
Yeah.
for the mess. We got our costumer Claire for the most disturbing scene I think in the movie takes place after kind of like the explosion of action, the horror action bit, and then we kind of settle into this weird like
Scene.
a dance maybe some people might call it,
A get together.
yeah and Claire dressed all the actors with like
Weird
nature
stuff.
She made everyone look like they had been like rolled through the forest and then like added little bits of like their character and stuff. So we try to make it as fun as possible. And
As far as the rules go with what's going on, we played pretty fast and loose with that. And we're kind of like, what's the most fun thing to happen next, and then also trying to pay homage to like as many found footage movies as possible because that's part of it. And I love Evil Dead 2. I mean, that's a great.
Yeah.
They go out to a cabin. There's some Yeah, it's cool that I like that you saying that you didn't know what was going, like the way in which they were going to meet, if they do meet their end. You didn't know how it was going to happen. So
Right, right.
I
And
think.
in
Uh,
this day and age now, it's really kind of hard to come up with anything new and fresh and surprising because
Mhm.
so much has been done already. And that's what I enjoyed about this is I really did not, again, kind of as a cynic, having reviewed so many movies and watched so many movies, you're like, oh, this is going to happen and that's going to happen.
yeah.
And that's not the case here. It's just kind of, you're like, whoa, 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 okay, well, I didn't see that one coming.
I
So,
hope that part of the reason for that is because it did start as such like a straight up mockumentary. So it kind of like opens more doors maybe to what could happen.
yeah, I think that sounds like a good as an explanation as any. I like it.
Perhaps. Perhaps.
Perhaps. So, and I'm not sure to what degree they were involved, but radio silence is noted as being a part of this. How did that all come about? I mean,
Yeah, that was pretty crazy. We made this little movie out in the woods. We cut it together. We had a rough cut, and then we were able to get it over to them, to Radio Silence. They watched it, and I think they just really connected with what I mean. It's about an independent film crew making a found footage movie,
right?
and there were many scenes that even I mean I think they liked the overall thing, but there were little moments they clued in on that they were like that reminded them of the times before Scream, before all this, when they were out in
Yeah,
the forest doing the same thing, the
yeah,
YouTube days. And I think I don't know, it started as just a really great conversation that pretty quickly led to them coming on as EPs. And they helped us with the VFX with the movie, which was huge, particularly for the last third of the film. And they also just helped us kind of fine tune the edit. They're great mentors, and they have such a great grasp of the tone of these kinds of movies. So I mean, the fact they put their seal of approval on this kind of, yeah, it was kind of a dream come true, honestly.
yeah. That's great. Well, again, I can't say it enough. Anybody who's watching this, anybody who reads my review of it, find this movie. I believe it is out now. Correct? Correct me if I'm wrong.
Correct. It's out right now on iTunes, Amazon, and Apple.
Fantastic. Found footage, the making of the Patterson Project, right? Am I saying that right?
That's correct.
Yep.
That's the whole movie. That's the whole
Fantastic.
title.
Guys, it's been great talking with you. Love your work. I can't wait to see what you guys come up with next. Appreciate you
Great.
taking some time with me today.
Absolutely. Thank you for a great interview.